it's difficult to understand the cloud without a good understanding of virtualization. To understand virtualization, consider the usage of resources on your computer. On Windows, you can do this by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Delete at the same time and then selecting Task Manager. On the Mac, you can access the Activity Monitor by pressing Ctrl-Alt-A. Either of these will show you how much CPU, RAM, and storage, and network you are using at a given time. Take note that the storage measurement in these tools is not a measure of how much is used, but rather how much is currently being written and read from the disk. Remember that each disk can keep up with only so much reading and writing at one time, which is the reason large enterprises use RAID and other technologies. Looking at these, you will likely notice that you aren't even using half of your available CPU, RAM, disk, or network. In fact, most of the time you aren't. When you are away from your computer, you are using even less. Like the water wheel, you have purchased all the equipment to compute yourself, but you aren't using it 24 hours a day, and you are responsible for fixing it. Also, anytime you are not using the computer, you are incurring an opportunity cost with the asset. Virtualization allows people to share resources in common so that time is not being wasted on these assets. Consider the traditional model of computing. On the bottom, you have the hardware. On top of the hardware, you install the operating system, and the applications run on top of the operating system. Virtualization adds an additional layer to the model. In between the operating system and hardware is installed a special sort of operating system known as a hypervisor. This hypervisor allows you to install multiple operating systems on top of it, each one thinking it has its own hardware to access, with the hypervisor acting like a traffic cop, directing each operating system in turn to the underlying hardware. Because the hardware is running multiple servers rather than just one, the hardware is more efficiently used and less needs to be purchased, which makes it more economical.